Islam and peace and blessings. I want to talk about House Joint Resolution 192 because I notice all the UCC patriots, sovereign citizens, the secured party creditors, y'all keep talking about this House Joint Resolution 192, but that's the effect. That's not the cause. See, when you're dealing with remedies and all that, you need to know the cause, not the effect. You can't create no process based off the effect of something. The law don't even work like that. So, in 1928, right, it was a system of land registry. It was called the Torrens system, Torrens. Okay, it was named after Sir Robert Torrens. Now, with this land registry system, it was legally binding on the whole planet Earth, and you had fee simple title after you went through the process. It's a judicial process, all that. So, in 1928, all the land was taken back from the United States using the Torrens system. All the land in the United States is registered in Torrens Registry Book 521, page 579, the Book of the Lamb. Because even if you read the Book of Revelations, there's two books. You had the Book of Seven Seals, which your name had to be written in, and you had the Book of the Lamb, the little book, Book 521, page 579, which your name has to be written in. That's what the Book of Revelation says. Now, when the land was taken back in 1928, right, under the Torrens land system, right, you have 5 years to make adverse possession claim, like squatters do. They make adverse possession claim. They got to pay them to leave, all that. Okay. The United States couldn't make it. 1928 to 1933, that is that 5 years. In 1933, they could not make an adverse possession claim to the land because they're not American. Read their own definition of what American is. Federal Directive number 15 tells you exactly what American is. You have to be indigenous to be American or you're not American. So they couldn't make no adverse possession claim. So in 1933, 5 years later, what did they do? Chapter 11 bankruptcy. That's what House Joint Resolution 192 was. It was a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which can take years. Okay, so under the Chapter 11 bankruptcy, they did a what? Reorganization plan. That's when they did the 1933 Banking Act, changed how banks dealt with everything and anything, because banks before 1933 were trust banks. After 1933, they became what they is now, like a debtor-creditor system type bank. They did a reorganization plan. That is how, they didn't take gold and silver. That's not how they took your sovereignty. And if you don't know what sovereignty is, you need to stop using that word too, because it causes a lot of confusion if you don't know what you're talking about. They took your right of privacy under their New Deal, their reorganization plan through the birth certificate system. That's what they did. They didn't take gold and silver and that made you, no. They took your right of privacy. Read the Illinois Right of Publicity Act. It tells you exactly what I'm talking about. Your right of privacy under the law is considered real estate. Land. You are walking land as a normal human. But through the birth certificate system, they're taking your real estate. And that's what they're using in commerce. They're putting your real estate up for commerce. Because the statute actually says it's the right to use your name, image, likeness, voice, and signature in commerce, but it's considered real estate. So at birth, they're taking your right to privacy. That's what they call it. So now you're public. Now you're under public law, correct? Supposed to be till you're 18, but nobody's telling us this because they took civics out of school. House Joint Resolution 192 has nothing to do with taking no gold and silver. You the gold and silver. You're walking land. That's what everybody need to understand. Read the statute. It's real specific. And then make up a remedy based off the cause, not the effect. Because y'all keep talking about this gold, silver. That don't have nothing to do with nothing that went on. And then in 1948, House Joint Resolution 192. Listen, in 1948, that reorganization plan didn't work. That's why in 1948, they came with that statute. Look up 18 U.S.C. Section 7. The United States had to create a whole nother special jurisdiction just to engage in commerce. It's called the Special Maritime and Territorial Jurisdiction of the United States. It's a statute. Them people had to put themselves on water because they can't operate under supreme law of the land. The Constitution is supreme law of the land. That's why if you notice, if you go in a federal court, they tell you, in the U.S. District Court, they say you can't argue the Constitution in here. You can't. Because you're on water. You're not even on land. Constitution is supreme law of the land. They play with words. You got to watch the wordplay. House Joint Resolution didn't have anything to do with them taking gold and silver. That's how they took. No. They took you. You're the gold and silver. Read the statute. Read the law. Law governs all events. I keep telling y'all that. Y'all keep trying to guess, and you can't guess up on this. Law governs all events. Study the law. House Joint Resolution 192 has nothing to do with what you think it has to do with. Read it. When the land was taken back from the United States, they went into a frenzy. And then the people who took the land back from him, his descendants, they slow. Oh, peace and blessings.